Okay, so this next guy that we are talking about is George Friedrich Handel. And he lived from 1685 to 1759. So he died after the end of the Baroque period officially, well, according to history, was concluded. He was German, but he spent most of his career in London. He moved there in the early 1700s. And he is known for opera and oratorios. Oratorios are like Bible stories that are like an opera, but they're not staged. So that people would wear their regular clothing instead of costumes. So Handel took a couple of jobs in Hamburg in Italy, but really the most of his career, like it says, was in London. His opera, like he loved writing for operas, and he even started 3 opera companies over the course of his career. He is someone he was born poor, and his father worked really hard to take care of the family. His father didn't like the fact that George enjoyed music, and he didn't think that that was a good thing for him to do. And so he, at one point, George Friedrich Handel went to a school, and his father took him out of the school, and one of the reasons might have been that it was a school with music as one of its main things. But Handel really loved music. And there's a legend, now I don't know if this is true, but legend has it that he loved music so much that he snuck a clavichord, which is like an early version of a piano. He snuck a clavichord into their family's attic and went upstairs to practice up there, and his parents didn't know that he had a clavichord upstairs, which I don't know if that's true because you would kind of probably hear it, but whatever. However, what happened was he went with his father to court for whatever reason to visit a dignitary, and the Duke, for whatever, somehow, again, this is all legend, so for whatever reason, Handel was asked to go play on the chapel organ, the organ that was attached to the rich person's palace. And he played, and the Duke, who was there, was like, this guy, he should keep getting training. He should receive further training. And well, you don't say no to a Duke. So his father gave in and found him a teacher, and the teacher, his name was Zachau. And so Handel studied harpsichord, which is another kind of version of the piano, but before piano, the organ, the violin, and the oboe, and he loved the oboe above all things. And so he studied under Zachau for a couple of years. Zachau was the organist for that, for the local area, and so apparently Zachau would sometimes disappear before church started. Probably to go sit and not do anything, maybe drink a couple of drinks. And so Handel would have to play for the church service because the other guy left. So he got experience doing that. He became quite good. He was also composing at around the age of 9. And then, so he studied under Zachau for a couple of years, and then he went off to school. He studied law, but he also studied music. While he was there, he befriended Telemann. And then after that, that's when he moved to England, composed for Queen Anne. But sadly, at the age of 52, he had a stroke. And then he recovered. And at that time is when he started writing more oratorios. So an oratorio, another difference between opera and oratorio is a lot of these oratorios were biblical, and they were in English. And so the reason why, it wasn't because he didn't like opera anymore. It's because the population, the people, opera wasn't as exciting to them anymore. In fact, they were kind of making fun of the art form. And so he changed how he wrote. He changed the content that he wrote in order to please the audiences. And so he started writing oratorios. And so he wrote ones like Deborah, which is about Deborah, the judge who helped save Israel. He wrote about another one called Athaliah. She's someone possibly from Jewish history. He wrote Saul. He wrote Israel in Egypt, and he wrote Messiah, which is probably one of his most famous pieces. It is his most famous piece. And not only did he write that, but he also wrote things like Water Music, which was music to be played for the king while he was on a boat. So he had, violinists on the boat with him, because why not? You're a king, you can do whatever you want. Music for the royal fireworks, which is music to be played while watching fireworks. Awesome. Zadok the Priest, which is an epic song that was written for the coronation of a king. And Arrival of the Queen of Sheba, which is another famous, lovely song that Handel wrote. Handel is fortunate. When he died, he did not die penniless, unlike most musicians, and he was buried in Westminster Abbey. Oh, it got cut off. He was buried in Westminster Abbey, and you can go there and see his gravestone, which is pretty cool.